All right, let's talk about Evil Dead 2, the sequel slash remake that's somehow better, funnier, and gorier than the original. If Evil Dead was a manic horror film made by some lunatics who barely had a budget, then Evil Dead 2 is those same lunatics, just with a little bit more money. And with the Evil Dead movies, similar to the Dolomite movies, you have two camps of people. People who absolutely love these movies, treat it as brilliant cinema, and want to spread it off to the world. And then you have the people that don't get it. They think it's terrible, doesn't really have any redeeming qualities. And I'd say both parties are right. It all depends on perspective. But if you have an open mind and you like to be entertained, I don't see how you couldn't get anything out of these movies. This movie's the Citizen Kane of B movies. It's high art for lowlifes. It's the Mona Lisa of gore. It's a masterpiece. If your idea of masterpiece is a guy fighting his own hand and replacing it with a chainsaw. So let's set the scene. Ash is back, our boy Bruce Campbell, the king of slapstick horror, the human punching bag, and if chins could kill, he'd be Ted Bundy. He kind of looks like Ted Bundy, just with a bigger chin. And Ash is back at the cabin again, because apparently he didn't learn his lesson the first time.
So what's this place like?
Well, it's a little run down, but it's right up in the mountains.
I mean, I get it. Sometimes you go back to a bad relationship because you think it'll be different. But what's really weird about this movie, it's not even a sequel, it's a remake, but it's billed as a sequel. It's like Sam Raimi looked at Evil Dead and said, what if we did the exact same thing, but cranked up the crazy to 11 and threw continuity in the trash? Seriously, this movie doesn't care about the first one. It starts with Ash going back to the same cabin, but with a different girlfriend.
After all, I'm a man and you're a woman. At least last time I checked.
Okay.
Like, bro, did you just forget what happened last time? Did you block out the part where the demons murder your friends and your girlfriend tries to bite your face off? Are we supposed to believe this is a parallel universe where Ash is still dumb enough to vacation in the same exact cabin from Evil Dead 1? But Ash is pretty fucking stupid, so I wouldn't put it past him. But I love Ash. Ash manages to be the dumbest yet coolest guy in the world all at the same time. And here's the kicker. Instead of giving us a recap, they just wipe the slate clean. It's like Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell had a meeting and said, continuity? Nah, let's just have Ash do the same shit again, but this time with more blood and less logic. And you know what? It works. Somehow it works. The first 10 minutes are basically Evil Dead speedrun edition. Ash shows up, finds the Book of the Dead, reads it like an absolute idiot.
The book speaks of a spiritual presence, a thing of evil that roams the forests and the dark bowers of man's domain.
Demons show up, possess his girlfriend, he ends up chopping her head off with a shovel. It's like Raimi knew you didn't come here for a plot. You came here to watch Bruce Campbell lose his mind while covered in gallons of fake blood. And in the first movie, Ash was this scared, awkward guy who stumbled into heroism. In Evil Dead 2, he's a full-on lunatic. This dude spends half the movie laughing hysterically at nothing while the furniture laughs back. But Ash is a hero, not because he wants to be. He's a hero because he's too stubborn to die. He doesn't even care about saving the world. He's just trying not to be inconvenienced. There's a scene where his own hand gets possessed. I mean, how do you just get your hand possessed? I mean, do the rules change for you, Ash? You know, when people get infected by the Evil Dead, it takes over their whole body. But for you, it's only got your hand, and it's taken its sweet-ass time to work its way up. So Ash cuts his own hand off and starts fighting his own damn hand. Literally fist fights his own severed hand. And if Evil Dead was bloody, Evil Dead 2 is an absolute massacre. Blood just doesn't spray, it explodes. It gushes out of walls, ceilings. At one point, it's just so over the top, you stop being grossed out and you just start laughing. And I don't know if any one of you have seen the Evil Dead musical. I saw it like 15 years ago when it came to my town. And for the first 2 or 3 rows, you had to wear a rain poncho because you would get splattered with blood. And the chainsaw arm, let's talk about that. He straps a chainsaw to his stump, saws off a shotgun barrel, and delivers the most iconic one-liner in horror history.
Groovy.
It's not even a good line, but when Bruce Campbell says it, covered in blood, with a chainsaw for an arm, it's fucking Shakespeare. The effects are incredible in the jankiest way possible. There's claymation, puppets, basically every cheap trick in the book, and it works. In the climax of the movie, absolute insanity. Ash gets sucked into a vortex and ends up in medieval times. Yeah, that's right, medieval times. And it doesn't even care if you think it makes sense. It's like Sam Raimi decided, screw it, let's throw in a castle and see what happens. And that leads into the equally incredible Army of Darkness, which I will definitely cover in the future because that's one of my favorite movies ever. Grew up watching that shit. And that movie is basically Game of Thrones on crack.
Yo, she-bitch. Let's go.
But yeah, I grew up on all the Evil Dead movies. Loved them since I was a teenager. I saw Army of Darkness first. They used to play that on HBO when I was really little.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up. This is my boomstick.
But when I became a teenager, I started finding the other movies in the trilogy, and man, these have stuck with me throughout my life. I absolutely adore these movies. And shout out to Bruce Campbell. That guy is hilarious. Everything he's in, he always steals every scene. So if you love this movie, you should definitely pass it on to any of your friends. Get them down with the Evil Dead cult because, you know, this shit is fun for everyone. You cannot have a bad time watching these movies. Evil Dead 2 is the perfect B movie. It's gory, ridiculous, hilarious, and unforgettable. It's what happens when you give a bunch of maniacs a camera and some fake blood and tell them to go nuts. So if you haven't seen it, fix that immediately. Watch it, love it, and then try explaining it to someone who's never heard of it. I dare you. So yeah, see Evil Dead 2. That shit is amazing, and the cover is sick. I got like 3 t-shirts of that Evil Dead cover because it's just so badass to wear. And also, I like seeing who notices it. But yep, I hope you have a great day. Watch the Evil Dead movies. Let me know what you think in the comments. And also, tell me what other movies you'd like me to cover, because this is fun for me. I'd just be watching movies and ranting about them either way. But if there's an audience for that, I'll keep putting this shit out. But to the rest of you, I hope you have a great day, be safe, and God bless.